Good morning. Here we are again in the car with another podcast. And this time we're going to be chatting about the secret 89-figure brands use to scale creative output. We have some really good points here. So, Jordan, where do you want to start?
So one thing I'm asked quite often is how do you scale creative output without sacrificing quality? And that's really the key. Now, if you have one team producing your ad creatives, even one creative strategist, now you can fill their capacity, which is great, but you're also going to max out their creativity. And one thing that we have found when working with 8 and 9-figure brands is the thing that they do is they hire multiple creative agencies, multiple people who can create ads for them, because different sources can give you different ideas, right? Not just from an output standpoint, but also from a creativity standpoint. And I think you want to talk about, giving two people the same content, the same idea, and they come up with completely different end results. You talk a little bit more about how a brand can actually do this and what is the approach?
Yeah. So I have this example because it's a client of ours. They usually have footage that they ask for to creators. They have internal creators or creators that they work with directly. And what they do, this 8 and 9-figure brands, what they do is they send the same footage to all the different agencies. And what that allows them to achieve is each of those agencies are going to come up with different ideas for the same footage. And in the end, what that then leads to is more testing. Yes, more volume, but more diversity, even within the same footage. That's what I'm talking about. And so by doing this, by having multiple agencies work on the same footage, they are putting themselves in the position of what we call the testing flywheel, where more sources lead to more ideas, which then lead to more tests, which then lead to more winners, which then leads to more revenue. So that's what we call a testing flywheel, and that's why you want to have multiple agencies work on the same footage, because by themselves, these agencies are going to come out with their own footage. But when you as a brand owner have footage from someone that you like, send it to multiple agencies, because you're going to have different results coming from different sources.
Yeah. And the key here is leverage, right? You want to get leverage on your ability to produce creative, right? It's creative leverage. And nowadays it's one of the hardest things to do. You can use AI, which is great, but I think over time you need to be, again, just tapping into different creative sources, getting different ideas, and you're going to see the effects of that with your performance.
But how do you actually achieve this outcome, especially if you're on a budget, if you're a smaller brand that is on the way to 8 to 9 figures? Two ways. First one is hiring an additional creative strategist. And the key here is finding someone that has a different background, maybe it's from a different country and worked in a different industry. Yeah, because that way they will look at the same content with totally different eyes, and the results are going to be totally different. Second one is asking your current agency if within their team they have another creative strategist who from time to time can produce credits for your brand, because same thing, they have their expertise, or maybe they're at different stages in their career, and so another creative strategist within the same agency is even easier for you to get.
I'll also add that sometimes you get too close to the brand. If you're working on the same brand for a year, and we know this, we've been working on brands for 5 years, sometimes you get too close. You get into the echo chamber of the same ideas. Sometimes you need someone else with a fresh pair of eyes to come in and point out some things, some blind spots that you just haven't seen. And that's completely normal as a human. So don't, hammer your creative strategist with you should be coming up with more ideas, better ideas, etc. It's just, they're just human. And sometimes, maybe they even need a break. Right? They even need, as you said, a pause. But the creative strategist swap around, do something like that to keep the creativity fresh.
Yeah, and to also add to that, we've seen on our end and also from other sources that we fall in the trap of, all right, we're not finding winners. Let's have our same creative strategist produce twice the amount that is already producing. And that's the trap, because you're just going to be producing more of the same. And while volume is very important, it's just one part of the formula, one factor in the formula. The other part is diversity and coming up with fresh new ideas. And so, don't fall for this trap. And so one thing to note here as well in this same trap is changing, especially now, the way the meta works is that if your content, if your ad variations are not too different from each other, sometimes it can just even think that it is the same creative, even if it's the first time you're uploading it to your ad account. It is that smart, the system these days, so that it just makes it clearer to you that you have to have the same content, the same footage, but don't just change one word, one phrase, one B-roll footage. You have to literally try to make it as different, as diverse as possible using the same footage. Okay, so there you have it. That's the secret 89-figure brands use to scale creative output, and hope you found value from this, and let us know in the comments if you're gonna test this, how it goes. All right,
See you in the next one.
See you in the next one.